Live from Cool Boys Central.
You're the boss down there. I'm boss up here.
From bat tips to bat nips, we are just three cool boys revisiting Batman, the animated series, and wearing hats. This is Batman and Beyond, a Cool Boys podcast.
I see Batman and Beyond.
Greetings, Cool Boy Bat Nation, and welcome to another installment of Batman and Beyond, a Cool Boys podcast. I'm Felk.
I'm Ballard. And I'm Steve. So cool.
Tonight's episode is The Cat and the Claw, Part 2, directed by Dick Seabass. Story by Catherine Derrick and Lauren Bright. Teleplay by Jules Dennis and Richard Mueller.
Those could be men.
Yeah, well, Dick Seabass is a pretty good name. This episode aired September 12th, 1992, so only 7 days later, because the first part was September 5th, 1992.
What was that? Wait, yeah, that kind of contradicts everything we said in the last episode.
Yeah, well, that's what Wikipedia says. It says Cat and Claw Part 1, September 5th, 1992.
Wikipedia also said Heart of Ice won an Emmy, and there's nowhere else on the internet does it say Heart of Ice won an Emmy.
This is what my source says, which is a different wiki. But the air date for Cat and Claw Part 1 was September 5th.
Yeah, this is the same.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then it says September 12th was the other one.
So we're just now the podcast that lies to you about Batman dates.
Yeah, so disregard everything you've heard in the last episode.
It says air date order, part number 1, and then it says number 8 for... So maybe there was 7 episodes that aired in between.
If one a day, sure.
Like they did like a dump or something. Yeah.
Well, Wikipedia says the leader of the Red Claw group, known herself only as Red Claw, attacks a military train and steals a viral plague, which she intends to release in Gotham if she isn't paid a ransom. And Batman and Catwoman must put aside their differences and work together to stop Red Claw before it's too late. I didn't like this one as much as the first one.
It was one a day. I just checked. It started September 5th, September 6th, September 7th, September 8th, September 9th, September 10th, September 11th, September 12th.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they were doing it one a day. You know, I remember that's how it kind of was when I was watching as a kid.
Yeah, they pumped them out.
It's pretty cool. Because the first season is like, how many episodes?
65, 64.
64 or something? That's crazy.
65 or 64, yeah, something like that.
That's a lot.
65.
It's a lot of episodes for one season.
Lots of TV was done that way, though. The first season for lots of cartoons was like 60-odd episodes.
That's pretty normal.
Like that was very common, and I have no idea why, but I think it must be like a shortcut to syndication. Like, let's get 60 episodes in the first season, then we only have to do 2 more seasons at 20 episodes each, and then boom, we're at 100 and we're in syndication.
Could be.
Because once you're in syndication, that's everything. That means that you have enough episodes to play Monday through Friday that do not require you having to cycle too many episodes that you've seen again and again and again, over and over and over again. And so once you hit that number 100, boom, people want you up.
I don't think syndication applies because this basically started in what feels like syndication, where it was like an episode a day, but they were new episodes.
Syndication could have been like Warner Brothers, like the WB channel or whatever they called it.
I don't know if this to me aired on
Fox.
The Fox affiliate, but did it air on Fox affiliate everywhere, or did it air on?
Yeah,
was it
for me
syndicated?
originally it was on Fox, and then it moved over to the WB.
When WB was created or whatever.
But I could see these had maybe been airing on the WB as in syndication somewhere else, maybe not on Fox or something like that. I don't know.
A lot of like primetime shows, their goal is for syndication. But I don't think that, a lot of times the kids' cartoons, they get re-aired, maybe in other countries and things, but a lot of times it's like one and done. They just keep moving on. That's kind of what happened with it. They after Batman the animated series, they moved on to like Batman and the Superman Adventures, and then Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, and they just kept moving.
Justice League, a Triple X gay parody.
Yep. Well, we missed the whole opening of the episode. So just to sum it up, the mob boss is still an informant for Batman. The train heist jumps off the first act right away. It's awesome. It's super sick, and I'm glad that they didn't waste that for the third act of this story. They set it up in the last episode, and they give it to you right away. And then we have Selina and Batman going on, or Selina and Bruce going on their second date, their rain check. And right away, they get under attack from behind.
And he shows off that he's kind of a badass as Bruce Wayne.
You mean Steve that he ends up being an aggressive driver and plays chicken with some hired goons on a bridge?
The animation on the driving is weird. It's like the cars are vibrating. Very odd.
She's impressed. She's like, oh.
She is not impressed.
Oh, yeah, she's definitely impressed with Bruce's
Any
driving.
woman would not be impressed that Bruce Wayne would fly through the poles going the wrong, or the toll booth going the wrong way up a bridge.
She was, she liked it.
Yeah, well, maybe Selena did, but most women probably would not appreciate that as their first date. And then for Bruce to be all like, hang on, and then guns it, busts a U, right, flips a 180, and then hits the fucking, like, gas, and then goes right back at the car. To play chicken, they could have both died right then on the bridge. But Bruce was all willing because he's, like, so hot and heavy for Selena.
I liked earlier, I guess, where we missed that, how easy it was for Red Claw to capture the plague virus. So they definitely show that they're like a well-oiled machine.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot like how Bane is in The Dark Knight Rises.
She just kind of goes in, does her thing, gets the virus, and then she's asking for $1 million or $1 million, whatever it is, gold. What was it?
I don't know, but if she's ransoming the city to not poison it or whatever, infect it.
That's the classic.
That's not a terrorist then. Then you're just a criminal trying to get money.
Yep.
Die Hard. Oh, shit. And Die Hard's I referenced Die Hard last episode because of the Ode Joy played on the piano.
I don't know what their organization's goals are.
They want money. They say that later in this episode, in the final act. She says, like, we're going to unleash the plague here on you, Bruce Wayne, or Batman and Catwoman, because fuck you guys, but we're going to fake it and do a fake plague and just get the money and then run. And by the time they realize it's not a real plague, we'll be already gone with our money. It's exactly what Hans Gruber does. They're definitely not terrorists. The police think they're terrorists. They're not terrorists.
I think they think they're terrorists, though, so it's confusing.
I don't think they ever call themselves terrorists, do they?
They seem to think there's a mission. Maybe.
By the way, we should touch upon the fact that we're referring to them as terrorists in this. And I think they are referred to as terrorists in this as well.
Commissioner Gordon does.
That's something I don't think a kids' TV show would have today. The reference of a terrorist organization or a terrorist for the main hero to fight.
No, this is right before True Lies. Like, this is when terrorists were like wacky and funny, like the Libyans.
And it wasn't a bad thing if they were Middle Eastern or from South America.
No, they were just people you stole plutonium from to make your time machine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, whatever those are Libyans.
Those are Libyans. The Libyans.
I don't know. I feel like they would still be in the show. I don't think there would be a difference.
Well, something that I love about this episode and what made me skyrocket this episode to like one of the tops of my list, especially rewatching it, Cat in the Claw Part 2, is that right now, Batman, as he's getting ready and getting dressed, and Selena Kyle was also getting ready and getting dressed to be Catwoman and Batman. Alfred notices this weird gray hair on Bruce's
Great
coat.
Callback.
And he hands it off to Batman, and Batman's like, yeah, this is weird. And it calls back to the opening act of Cat in the Claw Part 1, in which Batman notices some gray hair on his suit after coming into contact with ISIS.
It's pussy.
And that is a pretty intense, like, holdover for a clue, for a plot thread, to go over to Part 2 and then expect kids to actually remember that from Part 1.
Well, I don't know if they're asking, for the kids to remember it. But they're definitely asking for Batman to remember it.
I think they were expecting the kids. I think they actually were. I think you wouldn't put that into the story unless you had some expectation that your audience was going to follow you along with there.
They weren't writing for kids.
No, this is not for. This is a pretty fucking adult. I mean,
and
look, they're drawing Catwoman. Like,
They may not be writing for kids, but they still know their audience is kids, right?
That's the
I
difference.
don't know.
It's Fox. It was playing for me on 4 p.m. on Fox. So I mean, like,
I think the callback to the hair would be for a more of their older audience that they would rely on.
Oh, you mean the college students who like skipped on their lecture that day to get super high and watch Batman?
Whoever, there's other people that have enjoyed Batman. They grew up with him. So for me at that age, I was young and watched it. But I'm sure if I was older, I would. I still watch.
I still
Batman
think
and
you were
stuff.
probably what they thought the demographic was.
Well, for sure. Well, especially what Warner Brothers says. But I'm saying that this show isn't written, and I would disagree. I guess I feel like they didn't write for kids. They wrote this. They were purposefully made it a.
No, I didn't say they wrote for kids. I say they know their audience is children, and they're writing an adult storyline that has a plot thread that's tying from part 1 to part 2. And that is a lot of trust to put in their audience. Their audience is children. I mean, this was aimed at children. The commercials for this weren't like, check out this new vacuum and buy it. The commercials for this were like, whoa, did you see the Dino Riders toy set? Like, this was the commercials for this. Like,
This is well after Dino Riders.
So their audience, their demographic was children. They definitely were writing an adult show for children, but they still were writing for children. In a sense that they knew their audience was children, but they were writing for an adult perspective for sure. And I think that's crazy to think that an audience would follow along a small little clue like that. But I think it's also awesome, and one of the reasons I love this episode and the last episode, because of that attachment to that, like that one aspect of it, this one little piece of hair. So she just talked to that mountain lion?
I think she just kind of like was comforting to it.
It's like as like you talk to your dog.
Yeah, you talk to your dog all the time.
But I also don't tell my dogs to like eat people and then they eventually go and eat
Well,
people.
if you're being attacked and your
Or
dog
bigger
saves
thing
you,
would.
you're gonna be like, "Hey, good dog. Thanks for saving my life." You're not gonna
So
suddenly
did
be like, "Oh, wait, you have cat power? You have dog
Yeah.
powers?"
I would, okay, first of all, if you saw my dog and you saw the way I work with my dog, you would be like, do you have some dog powers? You're able to do some crazy shit with your dog.
No, I'd be
What-
like,
Alright.
"Man, do you beat your dog?" That's what I'd say.
Okay, you actually know me and know my dog since she was a little puppy.
She was the cutest puppy.
Well, I mean,
Do you think I beat Bailey?
no. I'm just saying if I met you off the street.
You would think I beat my dog based on the fact that Bailey can do tricks.
Do you remember when we were you were like selling a bunch of furniture and shit on the street, and you had Bailey out there, and there was this dude rolls up in like a wheelchair, and he's just like, "Oh, cutest dog," and he like just fucking like almost makes out with Bailey, like,
Yeah.
you remember that?
Bailey liked licking him too. Yeah, she licked his face all over. It was gross.
That was the weirdest fucking thing. I was like, does that guy just randomly fuck dogs?
Ew. Gross.
That was such a fucking. That still disturbs me. I feel so bad for Bailey. I was just like, that dog doesn't know what just happened to it.
No, she doesn't. She didn't. And Bailey would get cat calls. I mean, like we would go down the street and people would pull over. Like fathers with families in their car would pull over and be like, "Oh my god, what kind of dog is that?" Like, and it'd be like, it's a corgi." And yes, Bailey is a corgi. For those who are listening, if this even makes air. And
I don't really take things out of these episodes.
people love corgis, and I've had Bailey for 10 years now.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Cat in the Claw Part 2. Well, I never made Bailey eat a guy on a mountainside like Selena Kyle apparently did with the mountain lion. She had eat that guy.
She would not be able to.
I like the way this whole ending boils down to essentially Batman getting out of the ropes because Selena Kyle was able to kind of like cut the ropes with her claws. But then Batman just fucking's like, "Yo, I gotta destroy this fucking plague." Takes a gas truck, dumps gas everywhere, pours it all over the entire room where the plague is coming out, then rides the gas truck on out of the facility with a fucking grenade going off, explosions, fire. It's fucking crazy. I love this ending. Like, I love
he
how
drives it into a helipad. It's
right,
it's
yeah. Then he
pretty-
drives it into the helicopter. Yeah,
It's like not even a helicopter. It's like a giant like helicopter like
cargo ship. Yeah.
ship thing.
Yeah, it's like something Scrooge McDuck would have had for
Yeah,
sure.
I called it a helipad in my notes.
All right.
Yeah, it was a nice ending. Nice explosions, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, and apparently Bruce Timm or whatever hates the explosions too. They like hate these explosions. But I liked them. I thought they were actually good. They said they tried them like 3 times. Apparently they tried to reanimate these explosions 3 times and they never got it right. And they're still not happy with it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but like I read that on online, but like I was like kind of surprised by that because I was like, I actually like the explosions. I thought you guys did a good job with them. If you look a little closely, what happens is when they do a couple cells of explosions, the layers get rid of the kind of the layering effect of the cells. So you just see the back cell. You see the backdrop usually after the explosion and the smoke if you kind of look right there in that explosion scene. But I mean, I think that's what they're referring to, but I think it looks fine. I think it looks great. For a kid's show, it's fucking crazy. Excuse me. I mean, for an adult show. I'm sorry. This is an adult show.
I'm saying that it's a kid's show, but they wrote it for adults.
No, don't say it's a kid's show. You could be taking back everything you just said a moment ago.
No, I said they wrote it for adults, Mike.
I'm fucking with you.
But it's a kid's show. I guess you don't understand my point. But,
I think my point and your point is literally the same. I just don't think that point that we're able to understand that it's the same point.
Well, my point's bigger than your point.
Oh, well, I think I may have won because I understand that we have the same point. But that's
You
all right.
didn't even get my joke. But
I got it. Yeah, you did a
whatever.
penis joke. Yes, and you hate penis jokes. You won't even listen to the other podcasts because of penis jokes.
There needs to be some more wit.
More wit? That's true. That is true. I do agree with you on that. Sometimes we just go to the boner joke for fun.
Dicks. Cocks. Batman in my ass.
Ass and dicks. Dicks upon dicks upon dicks upon dicks. That's copy we've written.
So I like how it ends though with Batman just basically handcuffing Selena Kyle, and
Yeah, Batman gets real kinky with her.
you don't know what he's gonna do. You know, he's been acting. You've noticed pretty predatory throughout this 2 parts. You know.
Yeah, he has. You're right.
Now he handcuffs her, and he's basically like, "So, you know, we're gonna go to jail, or what?" And that's how the episode ends.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, that's so fucking dark. What a dark ending. Well, okay, the next time we see Selena Kyle, is she in prison or is she free?
I think he's just taking her back to his like fuck dungeon.
Mm-hmm. To the Batcave.
Yeah.
Yeah, to go fuck her. Yeah, because he doesn't want to fuck in her apartment, which is like a really nice apartment.
Too many cats. 6 cats.
So at near the end, before Batman puts the handcuffs on Selena, he gets a kiss blown to her, or blown to him, by Selena, and his eyes close a little bit, and then they reopen. And I just want to point out, that is literally the force of Selena's air kisses, that they feel like wind, where your eyes are affected a little bit when they hit you finally
saying
in the
that
face.
she has a superpower?
She has super air kiss power, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys, what are your boys on this one?
I give this one 4.
So this one you like more than the last one.
Oh yeah,
Which I think you gave it a 3.5
3.
or 3?
I don't know, 2.5. This one kind of bored me.
Really? Even this was like all action.
Yeah, but it was less invested. I like the fuck sexiness of
The first one.
Selena Kyle, and it kind of wore off in the second half.
Oh, okay. I give this one a 5 out of 5 again. This is I really loved both of these. I don't really care for Red Claw as a villain.
Does she come back?
I think she does, but I just really like the Catwoman Batman dynamic in general. I've always loved it. I love the way Michelle Pfeiffer and Michael Keaton play with each other. I like the way that Christian Bale and Anne Hathaway play with each other as Batman and Catwoman in The Dark Knight Rises. I like the way Adrienne Barbeau plays with Kevin Conroy as Catwoman and Batman in the animated series. And I love that's Adrienne Barbeau. That is a great fucking reference to anybody who's a huge John Carter fan. No, not John Carter. John Carpenter. John Carpenter is what I meant to say. John Carpenter.
What did you say?
I said John Carter.
Oh. Of Mars.
Of Mars, yeah.
The
Which is great.
I thought you meant the Denzel movie.
No, yeah. Like, she's like, okay, she's in The Fog. She's in Escape from New York. She's in The Thing. Like, she's like all over like early John Carpenter shit. And then she kind of gets into like random stuff later on in life. I mostly know her from all that stuff. She's in Swamp Thing and Creepshow as well. And Argo. That's the only recent film I know that she's in.
And she's the voice of Catwoman.
She's Adrienne Barbeau. And she and John Carpenter got married together, and she has huge tits. Like, huge fucking tits. It's crazy.
Kate Mulgrew was Red Claw.
Who's that? I don't know that name.
From Voyager, Star Trek Voyager.
Oh, shit! That's her doing a Russian accent?
Uh-huh.
That's great.
She does a Russian accent on Orange is the New Black, too.
I haven't watched that show. Is it good?
It's very gay.
Okay.
Great bat stuff, gentlemen. Cool Boy Nation, tune in next week. Same Cool Bat time. Same Cool Bat channel. Cool Bat Nation, be sure to let us bat know what you bat thought of The Cat and the Claw, Part 2. Or what your favorite Bat episode is by Bat emailing us at batmanandbeyondcoolboys@gmail.com. New episodes of Batman and Beyond come out every Thursday. Also, please check out our other great Cool Boy Central content with The Cool Boys Podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Patreon, where the Cool Boys have an uncensored discussion about 5 so cool movies, everything ranging from bods to dongs and all the boners they have given us. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Cool Boys Podcast and Facebook group us at The Cool Boys Podcast. Like and subscribe to us on YouTube. You can find us on YouTube by searching for The Cool Boys Podcast. And be sure to rate and review us on iTunes at The Cool Boys Podcast. And if you like, you can donate to us on Patreon and receive additional episodes of Cool Boys After Dark and a Cool Boy shout-out on the Cool Boys Podcast that airs every Tuesday. You can find the Cool Boys on Patreon at patreon.com/coolboyspodcast. Thank you for listening. Stay cool, Cool Boy Nation. Until next time, it's Byzies from Felk.
That's Byzies from Ballard.
And Byzies from Steven.
So cool.
Batman
And beyond.
Oh yeah. Batman.
and Beyond.
Oh yeah!